Hi guys, welcome to Learning, and I'm Lavanya Elangovan, your science educator. Am I audible? Is my voice clear? And can you see me without any disturbance? Yes, if it is an yes, please give me a thumbs up so that I'll proceed. Okay, alright. So I got a positive sign like this, and so we'll just start. Right? Learning is an online education platform where we give quality education for all students. So here at Vistaslearning, we help students to stay on schedule, value their time, and also excel in their academics. So do subscribe to our channel, and if you have already subscribed, share it with your friends, family members, and relatives, because someone out there will have the access to quality education. So having said that, let's start today's session. So can you just tell me like what we are discussing about? Yes, it's one of my favorite chapter, right? So it is your chapter Heredity and Evolution. And so far we've discussed a lot about heredity, right? Like what are the characters, like how the characters pass from one generation to other generation. So what is exactly heredity, right? So if you haven't watched that particular session and this is your first session, I recommend you to go back and watch my videos on heredity, right? So you'll get the link in the description below, so you can just scroll, get the link and learn what heredity is. Or you feel comfortable, okay, fine, I've learned what heredity is. I just wanted to know what is evolution. Then you are in the right path. Fine. So this is all about evolution. So here I've just given an image where from one single rabbit, it is got evolved into so many different forms. It's just an imaginary picture. Fine. So yes, guys, what is evolution? One basic question comes to your mind, like, what is evolution? So evolution is nothing but where an organism gets modified, right, a bit, or sometimes even more. It gets modified. Some sort of changes happens in their DNA level, right? And once it happens in the DNA level, then all the cells take up it, and then slowly they start getting changed. And that particular change influences the other generations also, right? So that we'll call to be an evolution, right? So here you just have like this particular chapter, you will be in this particular session we'll be discussing about evolution and classification. In our previous video we've learned what an evolution is, right? So here, after all the discussion about like how evolution really happened in our ancient time, so this session it's all about evolution and classification. So there is one particular relationship between this evolution and classification. Can you guess what is that relationship? So it is something like which is completely depend, or even evolution or classification, both is dealing with a species only. Of course, yes, species. So what is the relationship between evolution and classification? You know very well, evolution is something like how a species evolved from the older ones, right? And this classification is something which says the relationship between the organisms, right? See, in this classification, we've learned a lot. See, for example, like how plants are classified or how animals are classified, right? From unicellular organism to the complex multicellular organism, everything comes under this classification. So classification is basically relationship between two organisms, two or more organisms, right? And evolution is something like where an organism exactly started. What was starting point for this organism to originate, right? Yeah, so that is all about evolution and classification. So next, characteristic. When we are exactly talking about this classification, we have to know, I told you like there is the relationship between the organisms. What sort of relationship will an organism have, or will two organisms have as a unique thing, or something which is similar? What will they have? So that something is called as a characteristic as well. So this characteristics, which means like it is the details of appearance or behavior. Correct. So those are exactly called as characteristics. First, appearance. What is appearance? Like when you're talking, seeing two different organisms, how are they appearing to our eyes? How is the other organism appearing to our eyes? How is their nose? How is their eyes, their iris, their hair color, their fur, skin coat? So all these things will come under this appearance. And this behavior is like how an organism relates itself or interacts with an environment that's around. What is its eating habit? For example, will they produce their own food? Or they are completely dependent on other organisms for food? Or even in that particular heterotrophic, autotrophic and heterotrophic. In heterotrophic, we have different classification. Right. So how is one single organism relating itself to the environment there? So that will tell about behavior. Is that clear? So under classification, we'll be completely learning about the characteristics of animals, like how they appear and what are their behavior. Clear? See, here I've got an example for you. What is this? You know this is a wolf. Right? Yeah. So I'll just tell you like this wolf and this dog are somewhat similar. They are like similar in their characteristics. In most of the characteristics, they are similar. In recent research, they have found that a wolf and dog can breed and produce their offspring as well. See, so far wolf and dog were considered to be different species. But now it is like, okay, different species, they have the ability to reproduce. So that's fine. But here, this wolf and this dog are like somewhat similar. See, look at their structure or how they move with this particular environment, how they walk, what they eat. They both are social animals as well, right? So they both share common characteristics, right? So now they are into different species, into different or separate individual lines or streams. We can say streams, okay? Different separate streams. So wolf is completely different, dog is completely different, but still they are sharing their characteristics. Which means, yeah, right? So now I'll show another animal. Chimpanzees. See, when you look at this chimpanzee and look at this wolf, are they similar in their characteristic? They are animals, okay, fine. So that is one similarity, but we don't say that to be a characteristic, right? So now tell me, like, what are the differences in them? They are animals. They are having hair on their skin, right? And here, this wolf or the dog will walk in 4 legs, whereas chimps, they walk in 2 legs, and they use their hands like how we do. So there is a vast difference between a wolf and a chimp. But there are a lot of similarities between a dog and a wolf. Right? So chimps, like, what are just think and tell me like some other animal that is having closely related to chimpanzees. I'll give you 1 second. See, listen. What about human? Human are also like that. Like humans share most of our characteristics, or our characteristics resemble that of the chimpanzees. When we look at this wolf and dog are sharing their characteristics. Chimpanzees and human are sharing their characteristics. Right? So these two are closely related, whereas these two are closely related. Whereas a wolf and a chimp, they are not closely related. They are far apart. Right? So when we are talking about this wolf and this dog, they have a common ancestor. Right? Their ancestor were someone from where the wolf evolved. The ancestor was something from where the dog evolved. Clear? So they had a common ancestor. When they had a common ancestor, we also have a common ancestor. Like from this common ancestor, chimpanzees and human evolved separately. Clear? But there is one difference. This ancestor was something which evolved in recent times. When we go back go back in history when we do some research, some years before, till some years before, this ancestor were there. There are evidence for this particular ancestor which was survived, right? So that is why I put short arrow marks for your reference, all right? But when we are talking about human, this chimpanzees and human, our ancestor was something like billion years back, right? When we look back, we have to go a lot of years back. So that's why we don't find our ancestors now. Even wolf's ancestor we don't find, but still there are evidence for them to, like, they were there some years before, until some years before. But our ancestors, like billion years ago, they were there. And not only, this ancestor did not lead to evolution of only chimps and human. There were other things also, but we don't need to complicate that much. But just have this in mind, that will do. Fine. So I just wanted to introduce one terminology to you. Yes. Yeah. So make a note of this. This is really very, very important. Speciation. So speciation is the evolutionary process by which populations evolve to become distinct species. Clear? Is that clear? I'll repeat. Speciation is the evolutionary process by which populations evolve to become distinct species. So by the speciation only, like wolves, dogs, humans, chimps, everyone evolved from their ancestors. See, I said like, okay, this is an ancestor and this is another ancestor. For they both also, there should be a common ancestor, right? Because everything started, like theories believe that everything had a starting point, right? The origin of life on earth started from a single dot. That's what the theories say. So here they had a common ancestor. So that ancestor might be mammals, the first mammals, because all four of us are mammals, right? So here it might be a common ancestor. That might be a common ancestor which might be billion years back in history, right? Yeah, so this is mammals which had a common ancestor, just considered to be animals that we find. Now I'll show you another image. Okay, see, all these four are living organisms, living creatures, right? Which has evolved so much and now they are in this particular place. Just consider this organism. You know, this is a plant. Plant is a living organism, autotroph, okay, which has the ability to prepare their own food, right? They also have different parts, different functions, right? They are more complicated as well. Yeah. So when you are comparing a human and a plant, their characteristics are far apart. They are not closely related. Take a wolf or dog and a plant. They are not closely related. They are much far. But believe me, guys, this plant and mammals also, our animals also had a single ancestor. Can you believe? Yes, unicellular organism. The first living cells on earth, the unicellular organism. It is from this unicellular organism this both animals and plants evolved. Like billion, trillion years ago. Fine, that is how the evolution had. See, in this video or in this part of this video, what is like, my point is like, I just wanted to tell you what is the exact relationship between evolution and classification. Clear? So when we are talking about the path, like how a multicellular organism was evolved from a unicellular organism, says the evolution. Right, so evolution is all about that, like how the organisms, they acquired certain characteristics, then they started in their DNA, the changes happened, and how it happened, like the change in the DNA, how it reflected in their own structure, and how the particular difference or how the particular coding get transferred to the younger ones. So that is all about evolution. So when we are talking about classification is different. So classification is where we'll be talking. These two organisms are closely related, whereas humans and chimps are closely related. But a chimp and a wolf are not closely related because they are having different characteristics. So the way how we segregate them, so that will come under classification. Clear? So more closely related, right? Make a note of this, more closely related organisms, the wolf and a dog, right? So they had their common characteristics. A dog and a wolf had a common characteristics, which means more recent common ancestors. Their ancestors were found in a recent times. Right? So here where the evolution or the relationship between evolution and classification stands. So when we are talking about the most closely related or how the organism evolved, there comes this evolution. And how most recently the common ancestors were found or were there. So there comes this classification. Clear? Done? So next. Right? Yeah. So evolution and classification is done. And now it is all about homologous and analogous organs. So what are these homologous and analogous organs? You know this, right? Homo means same. So that is what you're learning. And even in chemistry, you will say like homogeneous mixture, heterogeneous mixture, right? So here, so homo means something which is same. So analogous is a direct opposite of that. Fine, like that also you can have. So now we'll just deal about or discuss about the homologous organs and the analogous organs. First case, I just wanted you to look at these images because I'll be asking questions from here. So this is an eagle, this you know, which beautifully glides on above the clouds, above the rain clouds, right? It glides so beautifully. So this is a bat, something which you will see only in the late evenings, right? And this is something which is really having special characteristics. We don't consider that to be a bird. Sometimes we consider that's different. So here, I just wanted you to look at this part where I made the round, the wing, with which helps in their flight. Right, I just wanted you to look at this part, look at their wing. Yeah, I'll show you the next set of images now. A shark. Right, I just wanted you to look at the fin of the shark. And this is a dolphin. And just look at the flipper of a dolphin. Right, for sharks, we'll say fin. For dolphins, we don't say fin, we'll say flipper. I'll tell you why. Okay, so now just look at the places where I've marked. So we are just going to talk about their limbs, basically about their limbs. Let it be flight, birds or water, animals or whatever it is. We are just going to talk about their wings, okay, or their limb. Fine. So next. So now, this is a dolphin, a flipper of a dolphin. This is one particular arm of a bat. Why I have picked only dolphin and bat here? I didn't pick the other. Why? What is the relationship between this both? This is something which lives in water. This is something which lives in air, on land. So what is the relationship between them? I'll show you again. Look very carefully. See this bird and this bat's wing and this dolphin's flipper, shark's fin. So all these are something which an organism uses to move forward. So this organism, eagle and a bat, helps, it uses their wings to fly in air. These two fish will help or use their fins or flippers to swim in water. Somewhere it is used for locomotion. That is a basic concept here. Fine. Point number one, they are using their limbs for locomotion. Clear. So now I'm telling that this bat and this flipper originated from a same ancestor. Can you believe this? Yes. So bat and a bird did not origin from a single ancestor. They didn't have the same ancestor. But a bat and a flipper of a dolphin or a dolphin had their ancestors were same. I'll tell you. See, for that only I've got this image. Now if you see this image, you will get an idea. Because here is their bone structure. Just look at the bone structure. This particular area, right? Or I'll show another image so that it will be easy. Yeah, look. This is our hand. So there is a relationship between us, dolphin, and a bat in our arm structure. Just look at our arm. We've got our fingers here, right? This palm fingers. So isn't this and the dolphins and bats looking alike? Now from here, we'll just move to this area, our forearm region. Two bones again, two bones again. Let's go to our arm here. Single bone again, single bone. Look at the shape. Look at the numbers. Maybe in the palms here in a dolphin it is varying, but still the structure is same. Right? So how is this? So this says that we all have a same ancestor. Right? Same ancestor. We all came from a same ancestor. Just by looking at the bone structure. Human, dolphin, and bat. Right? So these organs we'll call to be homologous organs. Just look at this image. Is it applicable only in animals? No. It is applicable in plants as well. So here, this is a picture plant here. So this picture, what part of the plant is this picture? Is this a flower or stem, leaf or root? Tell me. I'll give you 1 second time. I'll tell the options again. This picture belongs to which part of the plant? Stem, root, leaf, flower. I'm going to wait for your answer seriously. Oh, okay. I'm getting the answer to be leaf. It's a modified leaf, of course, yes. Can you believe this to be a leaf? Leaf is something which is green in color, which is completely responsible to prepare their food. It grabs the sunlight, does photosynthesis, right? Not exactly. In case of pitcher plant like this, it can get modified. This cactus again, it can get modified. See, in this particular cactus, the green area, what we see is not the leaf, right? It is this thorns or the spines that is studded on the entire body is the leaf. Right? They are modified leaves. See here in the case of cactus, it is modified for protection and to reduce transpiration. Here in case of pitcher, to trap the insects, to prepare food as, the function is same that they have to prepare the food. Right? So, but the usage or the methodology what they follow is different. Clear? So, here the leaf has been modified like this. Right? So the same way, coming back to this dolphin, bat and human, the structure is same. Since the structure is same, we say that to be homologous organs. Right? They are having the same structure, homologous organs. Which means they have the same ancestor. Clear? So we've got a same ancestor but have different functions. Is that clear? So in plants, what did we see? We saw that they are modified leaves. So they are leaves that we know very well because we are learning from our younger classes, junior classes, right? So we know that they are leaves. They are modified leaves. They have different functions. In case of pitcher is to trap the insect. In case of cactus is to give protection and to reduce transpiration. But they are all modified from a leaf only. The same thing here. We all have human, dolphin, bat have got a same ancestor, but here it has different functions. So dolphin, it helps in swimming, bat it helps in flying in air, and human, we do a lot of things with our hands, right? Fine. This is all about the homologous organs. Clear? Then, shall I change? Next one. Analogous organs. Right? So here, the same bat and a bird pig. I just wanted you to look at the structure again. Look at the skeletal structure. There is difference. Right? Again, here also there are two bones and a single bone. But still, they are somewhat homologous. That is why the colors are given like that. Bones are shown in the same color, are homologous. They have a similar thing. But when we are coming to the last part, it is quite different. Maybe the segments are same, but it's not that correct or that apt like how we are, like how human is having and how a bat is having. It's not just same like that, right? There are much difference in this part. Fine. So now look at this area. A bat here. In a bat wing, it is complete skin. But when you are talking about bird wing, it's not skin, it is feathers. So it is completely like a skin. Like when you divide, you get a very thin skin here, you get a thin skin here. So similarly for a bat, it has been attached like this. Still here the skin is developed, that's all. But in a bird, it is not a skin at all. They have feathers. So completely different. But the function is same. What function does a bat wing or a bird wing do? It helps in locomotion. It helps in flying across the wind. Right? So the function is different, but different ancestor. And the entire structure or more, the things, they are different. Right? So this we'll say to be an analogous organ. So they have a different ancestor, but they have a similar function. Same function. Clear? See. Now we'll just look at the difference between homologous and analogous so that it will register in your mind easily. Fine? Homologous structure, analogous structure. First thing, they show similar anatomy. So here they show a dissimilar anatomy or a different anatomy, like how the segments I said, right? So that one. Fine. So here they possess dissimilar functions. The function is not same. But here the function is same, like how they fly bird wing, bat wing. So they are inherited from a common ancestor, same ancestor. Here they are not inherited from a same ancestor. An arm, so these are examples. An arm of a human being, leg of a dog, or flipper of a whale, right? And even bat wing. So here from wings of bats, birds, and insects to fins in penguins. So these are certain examples for this analogous structure. Clear? So make a note of this differences because when we are discussing about the important question answers, we'll be discussing about this also. Right? Make a note of it. As I always say, please have a written practice because only if you have a written practice, it will be like your handwriting will improve, your speed will increase. Right? So please have a written practice every time. Right? So made a note of this. Just 4 points. Have in mind. So when you're writing exams, like recall the diagrams. Whenever it is biology, recall the diagrams, you will get points in your mind so that you can write easily. Fine? Clear? So yes, we've come to the end of this lesson, the end of this particular video. So in our next video, we'll be discussing about fossils. One of my favorite topic, fossils. Right? So until and unless I meet in my next video, this is Lavanya Elangovan signing off from Vistaslearning. Bye bye. Take care.